got to take a class from Dr. Bob Yager about 30 years ago after my first year of teaching. And he taught a summer science institute on Science Technology Society. And he is an amazing man, a great teacher. And he inspired me to keep the society, the connections to society, continuously in my lessons. So I haven't forgotten it or him. My understanding is that he's doing okay. He's in his 90s. He's still with us, thank goodness. He has had an impact. And this year I started a new project that continuously he's impacting my teaching. But this year, this is what I'm trying with my students. So I wanted to share it with you. I always start everything with some kind of grabber. I see, I think, I wonder, and I typically have this in a GIF format that I switch to PowerPoint for this presentation. And I teach 8th graders, and they are doing a STREAM project. So science, technology, research, engineering, arts, and math. And they start with one essential question that needs to be science related. And because of the impact of Bob Yager, their issue needs to affect our community. And you can see the requirements in that handout. There are 4 portions of our Minnesota State Science Standards that students selected this year for their projects. Our standards are changing to better fit NGSS, and so 8th grade physical science will change in May, and so I've been able to preview the potential standards, and the bottom one, the use of natural resources, would still fit, but anything with human impact can be used for this project, and I give those as topic categories, and students find ways that their project fits that. So a science-related essential question, how do I get at that? I start with our standards, with what you're seeing there, and I have them turn and talk, select one, explain why, and it at least gives them, without cost, the opportunity to see if their particular project has enough effect on them to want them to select it for a question category. I did put in the slides what I encourage and what I don't encourage as a teacher, and they've been doing some personalized learning projects. We are a one-to-one school with iPads in the hands of every student, and in our district they have iPads since 3rd grade. And so there are a lot of other teachers who do personalized learning in our district, and I find myself needing to give some discouragements that are listed up there on the screen. So I have interest inventories in our Schoology learning management system, but really what they get at is often pretty quickly found, and they structure an essential question relatively quickly. The technology portion of this project is to utilize their iPads to prepare a 2-minute public service announcement. And the requirement is to inform their audience and encourage their audience. And we do go through, I teach them if they aren't sure how to use Explain Everything and how to use iMovie and use Notability, because those 3 seem to be the best for me in producing a public service announcement. And often it ends up being like on social media where they have pictures or videos with text over top of them, and they give a message with background music. And so an example that's great, if you've ever seen this, I believe they're out of Canada, but if you Google, why don't we do it in our sleeves? It's a 5-minute public service announcement about why students should cough or sneeze in their sleeves, and it's a great example of using humor and bringing out, informing your audience and encouraging them to do something. And they come up with an invention in this video, and they end up activating students to want to do something. This is also, if you Google shark activist, this young gentleman is out of Massachusetts, and the video, in the video he tells the story of writing a letter to his legislators about shark finning and wanting that to stop. And the reason why I used this video, it is a little bit older, but he now is the same exact age as my current 8th graders are, and they like having feeling like somebody like them could have an effect. The research portion of this project, described in your packet as well, takes us into that central part underneath what it is. And it's about reporting the concepts related to your topic using your own words. It's not strenuously long, but these are examples of what my students submitted. I just screenshot what showed up on Schoology on their online submissions. I wanted them to include their essential question, their background information, and then they had to use online research to find out information to inform their topic. That's what they're constantly going for. Since I began teaching, I've heard of and used KWL, where you know what you want to know what you learn. But I've moved it into KWLAQ, and that's where the A is, of course, an action that the student is going to take, and the Q is further questions. And I used that system. And then the engineering portion of the project, they had to engineer something that informed their learning on their essential question. And I like to do this, I like to introduce it right after the background research, and I use a system called Hit Two, Get Two Twice, where they give 2 pieces of things they learned. They hear about 2 things that another student learned, and they learn from that, and then they do it again with somebody else, and then they brainstorm with their elbow partners about potential engineering that could influence what they can learn more about. In the NSTA Science Scope in January, I saw a great diagram that I used with students to introduce what I wanted them to know about how it's a cycle in engineering. And there are 4 ways that I encourage them to produce something. They build a model, they design an invention, they create a diorama, and then they make a prototype. Any one of those 4 I will accept as an engineered portion. And the example, a student that I have right now, Chloe, she saw all of the reusable straws and wanted to instead have reusable lids. And so she made a clay prototype of a reusable lid and sent it to a company to ask them about what the possibilities were for creating something like that to sell at our school. And these were other ideas that students submitted. I just took screenshots of what they submitted and downloaded photos. And some more things. The girl who did, Rory worked with prosthetic limbs because she just wanted to learn more. And her grandfather had diabetes, and she thought he might need one someday. The arts portion, that is to be incorporated into the video, and they have to draw something or illustrate it or write poetry or storytelling, create or perform music that is used within their video. And so these were submitted, either artwork created by them or poetry written or a 3-sentence description of the music that they used. And then the math portion, in order to have that inform their information. A lot of them surveyed 50 people, but they could have just collected 50 data points. And I wanted them to make a high-quality graph, and it could be bar graph, pie graph, line graph. But that goes along with enduring understandings in science, so collecting adequate evidence and interpreting graphs and charts are two enduring understandings. And so these are results that my students submitted. This was in beginning of March, and what they came up with for their graphs. And then evaluating this project, it's actually due in May, so don't have a product for you yet. But I'm going to use the what, so what, now what chart that I really like for evaluating. So they'll stand around in groups of 5 or 6. They'll show a video, and then their video, and then they will fill out these forms to evaluate it. And those are topics that were selected by my students. In the packet, you can see that enriched students have to have a community connection, and I've already had 2 students last week were published in our paper with their letters to the editor informing about what they had learned in their stream project. The end. Do you have any questions?